What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ray coming back at you with another Houston Texans feed. This one's gonna be over free agency. Everything that's coming up with Houston, I have some free agents that I'd like to discuss that could possibly be somewhat either potential targets of Houston or just kind of wishful thinking in a lot of ways. Now I'm gonna go with these from as number from 1 to 10. I want the top 10 free agents I think the Houston Texans should look at, and I'll try to break them down as much as humanly possible. The number one free agent I think Houston should definitely take a look at would be Byron Maxwell at corner. Is 27 years old, and he'll be an instant starter. This guy comes from Seattle, which is just, I mean, exactly the kind of I guess swagger and ability that you need, that the Texans may lose if they lose Kareem Jackson. If they somehow are able to retain Kareem Jackson and Jonathan Joseph, I think this is would be a bad pickup. You could get him a 3-year deal for maybe just around 15 if I had to take a stab at it, and that's 15 with incentives, so we're looking at about maybe 10 mil guaranteed plus incentives. And just a matter of cap space. If Houston can free up some cap space and get rid of some people and things like that, you may have a decent, at least shot at this guy at corner. At number 2, I have Randall Cobb from Green Bay, 24 years old. I thought this is a long shot that Cobb would, Cobb would instantly take Houston's O to another level. As a deep threat, he's a slot guy, a returner. Why not pay him the money? I mean, I just feel that if you're going to spend money on a receiver like Andre Johnson's getting, you might as well get someone like Randall Cobb that can help out in multiple facets of your area. I think that it's a long shot. I don't think Green Bay lets him go, but who knows? At this point, it's a possibility. He's 24 years old. He's got another 6 years in him, at least at the bare minimum. Why not try to get him at least a 4, maybe 5-year deal, and just try to wheel and deal with him. But again, who knows at this point, right? Number 3, and a name that a lot of people are not talking about that's kind of pissing me off, is Rodney Hudson, center. He's 26 years old. Even though if Myers leaves and Johnson moves over, or Jones, if they try to move Jones over, Jones can still play guard. He's done it the last 2 or 3 seasons. So why not try to go after a 26-year-old center who's got at least another 4 or 5 years left in him, who is one of the top 5 centers by Pro Football Focus in the league. I'm just not sold on Jones taking over the center spot, but this guy is a top 5, maybe even I think he's a top 10 or top 5 center in the league, and why not take a chance at him? Because you'll probably get him as a great value. You'll probably get him for a little cheaper than what you got Chris Myers for now, and he's a younger, essentially Chris Myers that can hold the middle. That's my opinion. My fourth ranked free agent would be Jason Wardless, outside linebacker from Pitt. He recently became a starter in the last 2 years and has tallied 15.5 sacks during that time, and he has good size. He's 6'2", 262. He's my 4th ranked prospect, and this to me would be a great pickup because I think you can get him at a decent value. I think he's underappreciated in Pittsburgh, and he would instantly take over in case Brooks Reed goes. And even if Brooks Reed stays, he would still instantly take over, and you still put depth in your outside linebacker pool, which is always a good thing. But he's definitely a number 4. Every time I watch Pittsburgh play, he's usually in position to make a play or is making a play. He's very sound technique-wise, and he's got good strength and can stuff the run, which is something some of our outside linebackers, other than Brooks Reed, hasn't done in years. So, number 5, and this one is total hypothetical. Torrey Smith, 26 years old. He brings an explosive vertical element to a franchise that has not had this for decades. I should say a decade, and he's a kick returner too. Again, kind of like Cobb, it's more like wishful thinking. I do not see Baltimore letting him go unless someone offers him a huge contract, which I don't think Houston would be able to match, because especially places like Indy, they have cap space out the ass right now, and I would be surprised if we were able to get a hold of him. Number 6, Jeremy Maclin. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. The only difference is he's a year older. He's 27 years old. He'd be dangerous and be an instant upgrade over Johnson and Martin. But again, I don't see Philly maybe letting him go, and if Philly does let him go, there's not a good chance that he fits O'Brien's kind of scheme as far as, you know, team unity and things of that nature, and is not something Maclin is known for. My number 7 pick is going to be Brandon Graham, outside linebacker, 27 years old. Under the radar, Graham has tallied 14 sacks in the last 3 seasons despite being a part-time player for Philly. Good value, fills the depth at outside linebacker. I mean, again, with Clowney going down and possibly not being ready for half the season, Brooks Reed may be on the way out. I mean, we've got a hole at outside linebacker. If I had to put a priority on Houston winning outside linebacker versus receiver/corner, I would say receiver and corner take precedence over an outside linebacker at this time, because they have players that could possibly fill that spot. All right. My number 8 prospect is going to be Brandon Spikes. Brandon Spikes is a unique opportunity. He's 28 years old. You can probably get him for a cheap 2-year contract. And, you know, with Cushing on the decline, you know, with multiple injuries, you know, Texans need to bolster their interior defense. Spikes is not known for his speed and his coverage ability, but he can take on blockers and clog up the lane like it's nobody's business, and he's affordable. I think if there was ever going to be a great value pickup that would instantly turn Houston's run defense into a freaking phenomenal defense, it would be Spikes. I put him at number 8 because I just don't see them taking a free agent inside linebacker, because to me they have 3 or 4 inside linebackers now that can do the job. I liked what Akeem Dent last year. Matt Bullock's on his way up. Muhammad was one of the best defenders on the team, and Brian Cushing, another year after surgery, might be back to kind of the Cushing of old. But, you know, again, that's just kind of wishful thinking, I guess. It's kind of speaking outside the lines here. Number 9, outside linebacker, Anthony Spencer. Now that he's fully healthy, there's a good reason to believe that Spencer can be a productive rusher if he returns to the position where he had his best season, which he wasn't at. There's no doubt he can be acquired at a great price because he is 31 years old. Kind of like a DeMarcus Ware pickup for Denver last year. It's a similar situation. Anthony Spencer could be a pass rush on 3rd downs. Actually, I personally think he could be a 1 or 2 down guy, first, 2nd down guy, and then have Merciless or Clowney, whoever's there, as a 3rd and 4th down guy. I mean, it depends on how you use him. But again, you could get him at a decent price, and he, again, fills a need at outside linebacker. My 10th and final prospect is going to be Parrish Cox. Parrish Cox is on there strictly for one reason and one reason only, because I have no clue what Houston's going to do with their corner position. Again, I don't think if J-Joe doesn't restructure this contract, I think Houston either outright releases him or trades him, and I think they give Kareem what he wants. Though Kareem is one of the top 3 corners in this year's free agent class, along with Byron Maxwell, I don't see Houston losing this guy that they drafted and actually helped build into a solid player because they don't want to give him a contract that he's going to want. Me personally, I think anything over $30 million, and that's with incentives and guarantees and everything like that, and bonuses. Anything over $30 million, Houston should let him walk. I think he's at least worth that for at least the next 4 or 5 years until he gets, you know, old like J-Joe, and then you can, you know, let him kick rocks. But Parrish Cox is my number 10 prospect. He's 28. You're only going to get a couple years at him. He surprised me last year with his ability to get his hands on the ball with the 49ers. He shouldn't demand a inflated salary. And even though he had an impressive season last year, I just don't think teams are jumping out to go grab his services right off the bat. Again, I think if anything, you could put him as a slot guy and have a solid slot cover corner if Bouye and Hal doesn't pan out. And, you know, there's your guy. So, anyways, you know, this is a hypothetical. This is all depending on what Houston does with their free agents class, if they decide to let people go, things of that nature. The one thing I will keep Texans fans in mind is that Brooks Reed is a free agent. Jonathan Joseph is a high cap. Chris Myers has a high cap and is a free agent. You know, Andre Johnson, we all know the scenario with that. Kareem Jackson. I mean, these are a lot of problem areas that could potentially screw Houston's 9-7 season and put them right back down in the basement if they lose a lot of their core players. You know, to me, a core player is someone like Brooks Reed or Kareem Jackson. You know, those are to me core players you don't need to lose. I'm a little biased when it comes to Andre Johnson because I want him to stay, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing him win a championship, but, you know, again, he is the face of this franchise, man, and he will be the first Hall of Famer for this franchise to go in the Hall of Fame. First player in this franchise to go in the Hall of Fame. So I'm very conflicted on it. I'm basically looking at it this way. Either way, whether he decides to stay or go, I'm okay with it, and that's kind of the bottom line. So, anyways, as per usual, my next video is strike that. My next video is going to be about draft picks because I've got done watching the second day of the Combine, and I've got some real good sleepers and some pretty decent mock drafts coming up. So, you know, we'll see what goes on. But anyways, as per usual, like, sub, and peace.